Peggy 18.
You all knew there was gonna be a god from God of War series on this list. And why not? Most of the gods in God of War series are epic! Of course, the exception being...
Bravo! Bravo! Our hero has arrived. Applause for another bastard child of Zeus. Just in time for the final act.
Hero.
You look terrible, dear.
But even though many of these gods are epic as hell, pun intended, I think we all know who's number 9 on this list.
Olympus will prevail!
Well, of course. Zeus is one of the most famous mythological gods there is. Let's start with his backstory. Titan Kronos was destined to be defeated by one of his children. So Kronos' wife, Rhea, was willing to save her youngest child to being eaten by Kronos. And guess who is this infant child? Zeus himself. So Rhea called an eagle to carry Zeus to safety and tricked Kronos to eat the Omphalos stone instead of Zeus. Zeus was raised by Titan Gaia, which she will regret for the rest of her life. Zeus set out to defeat all the Titans and save his siblings because of Kronos' sins. And thus the Great War began. To stop the war, Zeus created the Blade of Olympus to banish all Titans in Tartarus. And so the prophecies came true. But Zeus was aware that cycle will continue if it's not stopped in time. Which leads his son Kratos to seek vengeance! With this I mean that Zeus killed Kratos because he thanked him as a threat, and then he destroyed Sparta to Kingdom Come. And in the end of God of War 2, it's revealed that Zeus was consumed by fear. Trust me, if I'm telling every single thing about build-up, it will take way too long. But let's get to the character himself. Zeus is a god of thunder, so he has powerful attacks on his sleeve. As seen in God of War 2 and 3, he isn't holding back when he's trying to kill Kratos. Eventually, Kratos kills Zeus with power of hope what was hidden deep inside Kratos' guilt of his actions. Hey, wait a sec, aren't we missing something here? Yes, we are. In first God of War, Kratos was sent to find Pandora's box to use its powers to kill Ares. But gods thought that Kratos got the evils of the Great War on his possession to kill Ares. Instead, Kratos got power of hope while evils infected all gods of Olympus. And Zeus himself was consumed by evil fear, which showed Zeus' true nature and becoming evil. So it was all along that it was Zeus himself who brought his own destruction. Oh well, at least we got him as DLC character in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, where he's a fucking beast in a battlefield. So overall, Zeus is strong and mighty god in various media. Speaking of which, Zeus' voice actor Corey Burton did also voice Zeus in Hercules the animated series. Even though Zeus is great god and all, he's not the last PlayStation god on this list. What is the best PlayStation god, you ask? Be patient, we'll get on to it soon enough.
PlayStation.
You will never be the ruler of Olympus.
Gods, the symbol of divinity, the symbol of beginning, the symbol of power. So let's dive into one of the most classic Nintendo franchises in history for a little god talk, shall we? The Legend of Zelda. Finally, I got my chance to talk about this franchise. I really wanted to talk about it for a while. You see, Hyrule was not made with just a snap of a Deku seed. A lot of things had to be made, and why am I even rambling about this? I already mentioned Zelda. You already know who I'm talking about. Din, Naryu, and Furore. Yep, 3 goddesses at once in one entry. Man, that joke is getting really old. Anyway, they haven't really been present in the games like other gods on this list, but they've done their deeds for the land as well as helping our little Hylian hero. Before time began, Din, Naryu, and Furore descended upon the chaos that was to become the land of Hyrule, each of them creating a different facet of the realm. Let's summarize. According to the Great Deku Tree in Ocarina of Time, Din, with her strong flaming arms, cultivated the land and created the Red Earth. Naryu poured her wisdom onto the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. Furore, with her rich soul, created all life form who would uphold the law. All those goddesses are all part of the essence of the Golden Power, but most of you know it as the Triforce. Each essence gave new capabilities to 3 individuals. Din's essence created the Triforce of Power, which affords Ganondorf his great power and mystical abilities. This essence is often represented by fire. Naryu's essence created the Triforce of Wisdom, which affords Zelda with her great wisdom and mystical abilities. The essence is often represented as water or light. Furore's essence created the Triforce of Courage, which affords Link his great courage and mystical abilities. The essence is often represented as wind. But all the goddesses provides Link with special powers in the game. Din's Fire, a spell that consumes everything in flames. Naryu's Love, which gives you a crystal-like shield that protects Link from harm. And Furore's Wing, which gives Link an easy access to dungeon entrances. Overall, these goddesses were extremely important in what makes Hyrule, well, Hyrule. And they really deserve their spot on this list, even though we only saw them twice.
Wins. Fatality. Thunder take you!
Of all the powerful and skilled fighters in the Mortal Kombat series, none stand taller than the God of Thunder, Raiden. Quite simply, Raiden is a warrior in a straw hat, who gained the status of an Elder God after the second defeat of Shinnok. Does this matter? Not really, as his ability to fly and mastery of lightning is enough to prove his worthiness on this list. Along with many great characters in the Mortal Kombat universe, Raiden has some extremely over-the-top moves and fatalities. However, unlike other Mortal Kombatants, Raiden had the balls to go toe-to-toe with Superman.
Superman, Raiden, the rest of your forces were defeated.
So were yours. Nobody won here.
Then it is between us now.
That's fine with me.
Not to mention his battle cries would make anyone shit their pants. Whether he's zapping people to death with a well-placed lightning strike, or communicating telepathically with his past self.
He must win.
Lord Raiden.
Raiden is one of the most powerful gods in video games, and certainly deserving of the number 6 spot.
Am I
the only one that thinks Jubileus looks like something Lady Gaga would wear. At this spot we have Jubileus, the creator from Bayonetta. If you can get past the convoluted mess that is Bayonetta's plot and actually look for any kind of story elements, you will notice that each of the virtues mentions the name Jubileus right before they died. One would think that they were praying to their god in a hopeless attempt to survive, which they were. However, unlike a normal scenario, this god does show up at the very end of the game where you were pretty sure that the credits were about to roll. Now that's what I call some fine trolling, and holy shit, this god is big! In the first phase of the final boss battle against her, you must ride a motorcycle on the hull of a spaceship in order to rescue Bayonetta. Okay, I only have 2 questions about this. How big is that space rocket, and how can you fucking ride a motorcycle on it? Okay. Logic aside, this is a pretty cool boss battle and it's really fun. After ditching the rocket and reaching Jubileus' body, she finally wakes up, but Bayonetta is back and ready to fight her. The boss battle has many different phases, but let's not go much in depth because we're here to talk about the goddess herself, not the final boss battle of this amazing hack and slash title. Skipping the guide to all phases, let's talk about the awesome finishing move, that one big haired demon whose hand is the size of Jubileus, the freaking creator. Dear lord, this sounded incredibly wrong in so many levels. It punches Jubileus and throws her into the sun. But wait, there's more! Just as the credits are rolling, the game pulls another troll move and tells you that you must go to the sun and shatter Jubileus into pieces because the body is on its way to Earth. Wanna guess what comes after that? Another troll move? No, the game finally ends. And that's it for the role of Jubileus in the game. However, there's a bit more of backstory to Jubileus, that being her origins. It is known that Jubileus is not her original name, but that name is unpronounceable because it is said that humans are incapable of achieving her true glory. She was imprisoned at the end of the first Armageddon, and it was the one that shattered light and dark, creating the endless war in which the game centers around. However, there is one problem that bugs me about Jubileus. That being the fact that she's pretty underpowered for a god. Just think about it for a second. She's the creator, which implies that she was defeated by one of her own creations. Anyone remembers another game where that also happened? Yeah, Super Mario Bros. 2. So while Jubileus is a really good god for video game standards, it does lose some points for not matching the omnipotent image that we have from a god.
Oh, I love the Mario franchise. So fun, colorful, and wait, why am I talking about Mario in a video game gods countdown? I mean, there aren't any gods in Mario. Wait a second. There are. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Star Spirits from Paper Mario. Probably thinking, the Star Spirits were never called actual gods. And while that may be true, all their traits seem godlike. For one, they watch over the world. They also live in the Star Haven. So they live in a haven. Each one also has an individual power, and they have many other powers. It seems like they're gods to me. One thing that I feel solidifies their place on this list is how each one is different in their own right. Each one has a likable and different personality from one another, and it gives them charm. Like I mentioned, they each have a different power that they give to Mario. Some of these include Lullaby, Lamar's power, that makes enemies fall asleep. Scolar's power, that attacks enemies and deals 7 damage to each enemy. Chill Out, Muscular's power that decreases enemy attack power by 3, and Star Beam, which is the power of all the Star Spirits together, that negates the effects of the Star Rod, a device that grants any wish. Also, each one puts the world in front of their lives, which is shown in the intro of the game, where they refuse to grant Bowser's selfish wishes and are captured because of their actions. Although this may not seem godlike, because a god could just destroy someone who did this, but it is ruler-like, since they risk their lives for the well-being of the world. This is why they are at this spot. Their unique personalities, their power, and their ability to risk their lives in order to maintain peace in the world is why they are on this list.
Throughout this list, we've gone through the toughest gods in gaming history. But you know what? Shit's getting real. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I give to you the Precursors. Vega. Fuck you! Anyway, they didn't make an appearance in Jak 1 other than just being there, doing god stuff, I guess?
However, it's in Jak 3 they get more interesting. But first, what they do in Jak 2. In your playthrough of Jak 2, you may find some interesting stuff about them, like the Precursor Stone only being a myth, and that's pretty much it. They don't really do much in this game either. So let's get to the interesting stuff in Jak 3. Besides giving you the like eco power, there's one certain moment which is comedy shit. Throughout the game, Veger's goal is to become one of the Precursor himself, to have powers of a god. And in the third act of Jak 3, we find out what the Precursors truly are.
Oh my god.
As it turns out, the Precursors are just three Otzels like Daxter. We have the Otzel Leader, which is the fat ass, the Otzel Surfer, and the Otzel Dummy. So since Veger wanted to become one of them, the Precursors turned Veger into a Precursor by making him an Otzel. The Otzel Leader also told Jak and Daxter to defeat the Darkmaker ship so they can use the planetary defense system to defeat it eventually.
When Jak did this, the Precursors left in the space shuttle after having transformed Tess into an Otzel, as well as giving Daxter pants. And telling Jak that he had many more adventures ahead.
Can you say Pokemon? Pokemon has been a continuously successful franchise that it was only a matter of time this series showed its interpretation of God. Sure, there have been figures of ancestry, but no legitimate God. So it was time for Arceus to throw its hat in the ring. Hey Dex, give us some info.
It is described in mythology as the Pokemon that shaped the universe with its 1,000 arms.
Now I don't quite know when Game Freak is going to show Arceus with 1,000 freaking arms, but since we're here, let's talk about its design. It's basically a goat with gold tips on his hooves and a golden cross wheel around his abdomen. You got anything else, Dex?
It is told in mythology that this Pokemon was born before the universe even existed. It is said to have emerged from an egg in a place where there was nothing, then shaped the world.
Alright Dex, you're done for the day because you don't seem to have anything different to say. It's obvious that Arceus created the regions of Sinnoh and Rensei, the Lake Guardians, and the Creation Trio, but what is this based off of? Well, it's obviously based on a creator deity of many world cultures. Okay, I've learned my lesson from Reed's top 10 favorite games video, so I won't go forever about inspiration. So how about a little Japanese history? The conception of the first god might have been influenced from Kuni Tokotachi and Ame no Minai Kanushi, who, according to Shinto, summoned Izanami and Izanagi to create Japan with the spear. But enough about Arceus' inspiration, let's get to battle capabilities. Arceus' stats are clean across the board, with a base stat total of 720, with 120 stat totals for each stat. While this means that Arceus is the most powerful Pokemon, it's also the least strategic. You can literally mash the A button on your favorite move, and after a while, you'll win. Arceus is also the only Pokemon that can use Judgment, which has an interchangeable type depending on the held plate. And with Multi-type, which changes Arceus' type depending on the plate, this means that Judgment will always have same type attack bonus. Speaking of Multi-type, there's something I have to say about Arceus' possible typing. Thanks to Multi-type, Arceus was, at the time at least, the first legendary Pokemon of the Bug, Poison, and Fighting types, and was the first Pokemon to have a Mono Flying type. In conclusion, even though Arceus has no strategy behind it, it has a great type diversity for applying many movesets and is overall a great god. But I have to wonder, If a trainer manages to catch one of the creation trio, Arceus can replace it. So what would happen if a trainer catches Arceus? Probably nothing.
Throughout this entire list, we've been looking at some of the greatest gods in video game history. Whether they're all powerful, whether their designs are amazing, or whether it's just a sign that captures us, every god on this list is worthy of their spot. And not only does number 1 capture everything that we loved about the previous entries, it surpasses them and even adds more. Number 1 is Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising.
Who's Hades? The true master of the underworld.
Sorry to keep you waiting, but now that I'm here, let's get this party started!
Oh hell yes! Where do I even begin on how amazing, how awesome, how funny, and just how much I love the true Lord of the Underworld, Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising.
Hey look, who cares?
You.
Well, let's just begin with his introduction, shall we?
Lemons.
First time I played Uprising, I decided to do a rare thing and go spoiler free throughout the game. And when I finally beat Medusa for the first time, I was pretty happy and I personally loved the game, even if it was a bit
Short. Happy. Sick.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest.
Liar.
When I first encountered Hades, I thought he was just gonna be the pointless final boss of the game. But much to my surprise, he was a pretty good character. And he does a pretty good introduction too. He explains how he is the true Lord of the Underworld. He was the one controlling Medusa since the first game. And hey, you get to hear his godlike voice. Throughout the rest of Uprising, he will hinder your progress in countless ways. He tricks humans into believing a false seed that grants his wishes. He tries to steal the lightning chariot from you when you try to save Palutena. He even destroys the 3 sacred treasures, eats you, and then you have to go through his belly. Joy. All the while, you'll be listening to his humorous, insulting, and just downright amazing and memorable lines.
When freaky aliens give you lemons, make freaky alien lemonade.
Oh, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Not only is Hades a great villain, for previous mentions, but he eats the souls of the dead, and then makes monsters out of them. There's so much more to this character that makes him hateable, but at the same time, you really can't hate him. He's freaking hilarious. But by far my favorite part about this sadistic, humorous, and downright amazing character is the conclusion to the game and the final boss fight. The war's end.
Hades. Hades. Stalia. Hades. Excuse you. But anyway, now it's real. On to victory.
Every time you take down one of the many phases of Hades, the Great Sacred Treasure will change form, meaning throughout the entire fight, you will have to change your strategy using the machine. And hell, Hades also has to change his moves, meaning this will be a very hard fight on your first couple of tries. Aside from that, let's look at some of the highlights of this fight. A hilarious banter between Pit and Hades, a speed chase where Hades will be running after you, him trying to get above the underworld and trying to consume more human souls, getting chopped in half with a lightsaber and then regenerating his body, smashing the Great Sacred Treasure, almost killing Pit in the process, Medusa coming back and knocking Hades' his head clean off, and finally, getting shot by a goddess-powered beam of destruction.
It's hard to believe, but you actually got me, Pit. The nerve of you.
But even after all of that, Hades' soul still lives on, and he claims he will be back someday. There's so much more to talk about, but honestly, that should be saved for another time. And with all the information given, you can see why Hades has claimed the #1 spot. He's a great villain. He has some of the most hilarious jokes I've ever heard anyone say in media, and the final battle with him was just the icing on this fantastic character. Hades is without the greatest video game god that there is.
I must bid you adieu. Cheese for everyone!
This is really bloody cheesy. My heart will go on. Stop! It's too bloody cheesy! Lovely viewers of the gaming family, I'd like to thank you for watching Top 17 Video Game Gods. We finally got this out, and click in the top left to go see part 1. Click in the bottom left to go see my latest countdown, top 5 sheep in gaming. Yes, I seriously did do that. Merry's in there, Pokemon fans. And then on the top right, we have Blackish Butler. He wasn't in this countdown, but he is a member of the gaming family. He did a top 8 guild heads. Games he hates, everyone likes. Final Fantasy VII is in there. Don't kill him, fanboys. And then bottom right corner we have Ty the Ning Gamer, the number 2 segment, doing his top 10 Nintendo E3 announcements. It truly is an amazing first countdown. You'll love it. Click to go see it now. Thank you for watching. Remember to like us on Facebook. We have linked it down below, and we're going to update regularly there. So, kiss us. Bye.